why is the cost to save a life so high when something like mosquito nets or malaria drugs are, I mean, pretty inexpensive?
There's a few reasons. The biggest one is that even though malaria kills so many people every year and is so prevalent, the chance that any individual child will die of malaria is relatively low. You know, I don't want to quote this number wrong, but it would be in the range of like 0.5% to 1% per year is like the risk of death, I think. And so with that in mind, you have to distribute a lot of nets in order to prevent one child from dying. And then you have all the other problems that I mentioned along the way with that's assuming like perfect, like nets being perfect at preventing malaria, but they're not. Nets only prevent about 50% of the cases because mosquitoes bite at night. Well, some of that is when you're sleeping, some of that is when you're outside. Some nets get stolen, a bunch of nets don't get used. Insecticide resistance builds up. Nets have holes over time. You got to redistribute them. And so we have to take all of that into account when we're trying to come to that bottom line figure. And I actually think this is a mistake that we see sometimes when people are trying to do like more simple calculations. If you assume everything goes right, your numbers are going to look really compelling. But in reality, things, I mean, in every program, a lot of things go wrong because uh, you're trying to like deliver something to some of the hardest to work places in the world. It's places where like literally like people are dying for the lack of a $5 malaria net. I mean, that's a place that's quite challenging to be in.
Mm.
And so a lot goes wrong. And so when you add all those things up, the cost to save a life is much more expensive than that like cost to purchase that commodity. And then at the same time, it's sort of crazy to think about the fact that, you know, you could save someone's life for like single digit
Right.
thousands of dollars. That's like kind of a
Yeah.
wild reality.